Hi everyone, my name is Heather Ader, and if you're here, you have made it to the PepperJam webinar on measurement strategies to make informed decisions. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here with my colleague Mandy O'Brien, and we're excited to take you through our content. So to get us started, oh, sorry, Mandy.
Go ahead.
To get us started, we thought we would just give you a little bit of our own background. I'm Heather Ader. I am the Vice President of Data Products and Integrations at PepperJam. My day-to-day responsibilities include consulting with customers on analytics-related questions, and then I also manage all of our data-driven products and integrations with third-party platforms. I've been involved in the analytics community for over 20 years, and I'm currently the president of the Salt Lake City chapter of the Digital Analytics Association.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mandy O'Brien. I'm the Senior Director of Customer Success at PepperJam. So I've been with the organization a little over 13 years, and my primary role is to oversee the strategic vision for our service-based accounts on PepperJam's Ascend platform.
Thanks, Mandy. So today we're going to take you through several different topics. First, we're going to cover off on some macroeconomic trends that we've been witnessing over the last 2.5 months, and talk about why that's important for and how it relates back to measurement. Second, before we get into our measurement strategies, we want to make sure that we talk about what are the different possibilities for data assets out there. What are the different reporting tools that you can use that flow into the different measurement strategies that we've outlined. And that'll kind of nicely blend into our measurement strategies section. And then there we've got this broken down into 2 categories: analysis techniques for marketing portfolio analysis, which help you make channel level investment decisions. And then secondly, we're going to dig really deep into affiliate and talk about different measurement tactics that help you make strategic and tactical decisions for affiliate. I have a couple of housekeeping additions to make. Throughout the presentation, you can add questions to the chat window and we'll address them all at the end. We're also going to be recording today's presentation, and we'll provide a copy of that recording to all registrants tomorrow in our thank you email. Okay, with that, let's just jump right in. So first, we're going to talk about some macroeconomic trends. Life has really changed profoundly in the last 2.5 months. When we think about how this impacts consumers, we see that in a recent survey from Boston Consulting Group that 83% of consumers reported that their lives are different today than compared to pre-virus, and 61% believe that things will change permanently. In this same survey, they asked consumers, how have your spending habits changed? 18% of consumers are trading down with their spending. And what that means is that they're buying less expensive products. This is also a trend that we see and magnified in PepperJam's own data. Every week we're releasing our PepperJam sales index on our website. And in this, we're also seeing that across the affiliate channel, AOV, or average order value, is down about 15 to 20%, also indicating that in this time of crisis, as consumers are losing their jobs and tightening up those purse strings, they're buying less expensive products. Digital marketers are also being forced to change. We see that budget is decreasing across many of the top of the funnel channels like display. Display is being reported as having a 47% decline in spend. Also, consumers are telling marketers that 28% of consumers believe that brands should not advertise as normal during the coronavirus. And in particular, this is having an impact on content. Marketers have to make sure that their content doesn't feel contrived. But it's not all doom and gloom, especially online. So in a recent study by NPD, we see that online sales are growing rapidly compared to pre-COVID levels, and those sales are making up for a lot of lost sales in store. In addition, we're seeing, other than some verticals like travel or things that are related to the travel industry, many of those retail verticals are up year-over-year online. So as we moved, this data here is based on Google spend trends. And what we've observed kind of from a time frame perspective is that moving into lockdown, there was an immediate focus with consumers on stocking up consumables like groceries and pet food online. As we moved into more of the coping phase of the lockdown, we see online spend creeping up on things that improve life at home, like home and garden and hobbies. And then now that we're kind of in this established lockdown phase, we are starting to see non-essential items return to pre-COVID spend levels. So these would be verticals like beauty, apparel, and footwear. And Pepper Jam's own data shows that consumers are spending more online via affiliate partners. In the last 4 weeks, we've seen greater than 70% year-over-year growth across brands on our Ascend platform. Pepper Jam presents a great opportunity for brands because the affiliate channel enables marketers to be wherever and whenever their customers are. Given all of the data that we've just seen, it's important for brands to make careful decisions about where they spend their next marketing dollar, and also to optimize their existing channels to stretch those marketing dollars. In the next sections, we're going to talk about measurement strategies that you can use to help with both of these things, as well as the data assets that you'll need. So first, let's start with the data assets. Marketing reporting stacks can be very, very complicated. And oftentimes analysts spend a lot of time just getting the data that they need in the right format, as clean as it can be. So there are many ways that brands can gather data. The illustration that I have up here is perhaps one of the more complicated ways. I think of this as the marketing full stack. So to accomplish this, first you have to make sure that the pixel for your individual marketing vendor, whether it's LinkedIn or Pepper Jam or Google Search Ads, that your pixel is set up right on your website to gather the data from your website and send it off to that marketing vendor. Oftentimes tag management tools like Google Tag Manager are used. Pepper Jam has integrations with all of the tag management systems that you see listed here: Inciton, Signal, Tealium, Google Tag Manager, and Adobe Launch. Now, the next step is then those marketing sources, each of those vendors, all have to get data into oftentimes a data warehouse. A great way to do that is to use a data pipelining tool like Stitch or Funnel or 5chan. Right now, Pepper Jam has integrations with both Stitch and Funnel. Then that data kind of is dropped down into a data warehouse. It's standardized there. It can be merged with other data assets like data from your order management system or your CRM system. And then lastly, oftentimes brands are using a visualization layer, whether it's Microsoft Power BI or Domo or Looker or even Datorama, to sit on top of that data warehouse.
Okay, so I want to start talking about the different types of analyses. With portfolio level analysis, this is the type of analysis going to help you make channel level investments. The first one I want to talk about is media mix modeling. Media mix modeling is one of the most classic analyses out there. It's been around since, probably the last 80 years, if not longer. This technique allows you to determine, kind of from a statistical analysis standpoint, how much each channel contributes to your overall revenue. Data-wise, you need channel level performance data by time. You also need data about external factors like seasonality. Now, this type of analysis does require statistical modeling skills, and a lot of brands outsource this. It also can be quite expensive, sometimes running you upwards of $100,000 to $300,000 a year. And with this, the results of these analyses, you get kind of weighted model outputs, and you can use those weights to decide what proportion of your total investment dollars to spend by channel. Next up, I want to talk about attribution analysis. So with attribution analysis, you're going to need an attribution tool, and you're going to use this to answer questions like, which channels have the highest return on ad spend in a particular time frame? Which channel is driving top or middle funnel awareness versus conversion? For pathways to purchase, when there are multiple touch points on the way, marketing touch points on the way to an order, you might answer a question like, for paths with and without affiliate, what's the difference in key metrics? This is another really good kind of business question to structure a back of the envelope way to get to incrementality in affiliate. And then lastly, you might look at something like, does investment in affiliate lift performance in organic channels via affiliate impressions that convert direct to site. Again, you're going to need an attribution tool. There's a lot of different metrics that you're going to look at, but top ones might be return on ad spend by both channel and campaign or channel and publisher, introducing, influencing, and closing contributions to revenue, and then interactions with other channels. So how often does affiliate in the pathway to an order with direct to site or something like that. The analysis skill sets you're going to need are going to be Excel and like whatever the specific attribution tool is that you're using. And I'm going to hand it over to Mandy for a minute to talk about a couple attribution things within channel.
Thanks, Heather. So after analyzing the attribution per channel, there are some additional levers that can and should be pulled within affiliates, specifically attribution tools within our platform. So there's 3 specific features that can be utilized when thinking about the value of the traffic that's being driven and how the different publishers are influencing each transaction. So first and foremost, after analyzing the clickstream reporting within the Ascend platform, you have the ability to change the attribution in the following ways. So first is first click. So completely shifting the model to pay on first click versus the traditional last click. Second is designating preferred publisher status. So identifying a publisher and crediting them commission for the sale, regardless of where they fall within the click path. So many times publishers are influencing a lot of transactions, but they're losing out commission to last click publishers. And finally, in-cart attribution. So if multiple publishers are present in the clickstream, we're going to give preference to the publisher that a customer visited before they put the item in the cart based on a time threshold. So just wanted to call out once you identify the attribution per channel, really taking it a step further and then leveraging additional tools within affiliate specifically to attribute your commission accordingly.
Thanks, Mandy. Next, we want to talk about lifetime value analysis. So when considering channel level investment, it's important to not just look at point in time return on ad spend, but also to evaluate lifetime value by channel. Lifetime value analyses helps you answer questions like, which channel drives the highest % of customer acquisition? And are channels sticky with customers over multiple purchases? To conduct this type of analysis, you're going to need to marry together your marketing reporting system of record with your CRM system to allow you to understand for a single consumer, what is their order behavior over time. So just kind of want to explain the graphics that I have on this one in particular. These are some of my favorite analyses to do in marketing analytics. The top one shows you by channel, what is the average lifetime value for customers acquired through that channel, and what is the % of new customers that orders in that channel bring in. In the bottom, this is a study that shows the marketing channel for a group of customers who came in on their first purchase, and then what was the second channel that they used for that for their second purchase. When we've done this type of analysis in the past, we often see that consumers who come in through affiliate on their first purchase come in through affiliate on their second purchase as well. Whereas a lot of other channels, consumers tend to switch to email on their second purchase, oftentimes because of strategies that brands put in place regarding email welcome programs. Our theory is that affiliate is different because consumers are a little bit, affiliate shoppers tend to be loyal to their affiliates versus maybe having as much loyalty to the brand. And really with the results of this study, you can balance your marketing spend investments with high lifetime value, in addition to those with point in time ROAS. So next I'm going to hand it over to Manny to talk about kind of our first affiliate optimization technique.
Thank you, Heather. So Heather just walked through various ways to analyze your data, and what we want to do is really show how to take that data and action against it. So basically, now what? So once you've had the opportunity to dig into all of that, the first thing that we wanted to cover, and we're really going back to basics here, is to determine the baseline payout structure for your affiliate program. So some of the business questions that you're going to be asking internally or anyone managing your program is, how should we decide what commission rates to set up for a new publisher? What is the baseline rate that we should have? what is competitive in the market today? What type of data do we need to look at to make these thoughtful and educated decisions? So Heather, if you go to the next slide, I'm going to walk you through how and some of the tools that you can use to do this. So first and foremost, number one, routinely perform competitive audits to ensure that you understand your surroundings and you're aggressive with your commission rates. Also, by fluctuating these rates around key time periods, it's going to allow you to maximize your exposure while also increasing cash back that is being offered to consumers when working with some loyalty sites. Number two, how are you going to look into some of this information? Leverage Pepperjam's benchmark reporting. So this is going to give you a glimpse into what lookalike advertisers are paying in real time to allow you more insight into what is happening around you. What are your competitors offering? How can you be competitive and in line with their payouts? This reporting is also going to identify publishers that your competitors are working with, creating greater insight into additional areas where you can expand to take up more market share within the space. Number three, understand, once you understand the competitive market and you start looking at the data that is funneling through the program, really start by setting commission rates by partner type. The data that you've reviewed will give you general insight into averages that are being paid on a per partner basis. So for example, loyalty publishers may command higher rates than those of Coupon because they're paying back a portion to the consumer, whereas Coupon is fully absorbing the commission allocated to them. Additionally, you can implement commission tiers for increased payouts when revenue thresholds are surpassed. This is just allowing you to continue to drive incremental revenue for your business. And finally, once you've established your baseline rates and you've tested different affiliate structures, you need to continue to review the data that is available to make continuous refinements to your commissioning strategy. So as we're all witnessing right now, things change on a daily basis. So you need to be prepared, understand the data that you have at your fingertips to pivot at any given time.
Thanks, Mandy. So building on that, the next thing we want to talk about is how do you decide how to adjust your commissions over time after you have some baseline data? To conduct this analysis, you're going to need Pepperjam data. Having a CRM system in like your average lifetime value kind of factored in here would be really helpful as well. It's not required. And with this type of analysis, what we're suggesting you do is create something called a value score index. To create this index, the first thing you need to decide is we need to gather data about what are your current commission rates by publisher. And then you also want to look at what percent of total demand are those publishers driving. That percent of total demand ultimately would add up to 100% across all of your publishers. Then you look at things like what's the percent new customer rate that each of those publishers is bringing, and what's the average lifetime value. I'm using demand, percent new customers, and lifetime value as examples. You might have other KPIs that are more important to your brand that you could swap in for these. So it could be something like traffic, percent of traffic instead of percent of demand as an example. And then next you have to decide of these metrics, demand, new, lifetime value, what is their relative importance to each other? So if demand is the most important thing to you, maybe you give that an 80% weight and you give percent new customers a 10% weight and average lifetime value a 10% weight. That importance value will be different for every brand. What's important, what matters though is that the three of them add up to 100%. Next, you're going to create your value score index. And this is basically a weighted index that takes the actual results by publisher for those three metrics, multiplies it by the importance or the weight that you set, and comes up with a score. Those scores are going to be close to 1, and that's because we're forcing that at 100%. And so the calculation is, you can see it here. And then you're going to calculate what your new commission rate is, or your adjusted commission rate, as your current commission times your value score index. And this gives you a great place to start knowing how to adjust your commission rates over time based on the actual results of the publisher, as well as the metrics that are important to you.
All right, thanks, Heather. So what I wanted to talk about were just, we talked about basic baseline commission structures and what to do to set up the program. Now I want to go through just some advanced commissioning tactics through the use of dynamic commissioning. And just at a high level, dynamic commissioning really allows our advertisers to get granular with the way that they're paying their publishers. They're paying out based on what's most important to them, creating more efficiency, with the way that they are spending their budget. So once you have your standard rates in place, now it's time to really focus on the individual aspects of your order. So Heather had talked about lifetime value, and this is something that we are constantly thinking about, hearing about, and talking about with our advertisers. So one thing is to segment your commission payouts based on the lifetime value of the consumers that each publisher is driving for your business. Additionally, increase your new customer acquisition rate by offering an increased payout for new customers only. So to further aid in this initiative, we recommend offering an exclusive new customer only promotion to attract a new audience. Next is SKU-based commissioning. So this really would incent behavior by increasing commission on particular SKUs that resonate with your audience while pulling back spend on higher margin items. You should also be thinking about other attributes that are important to your business, which can be automated with the use of dynamic commissioning. So some specific examples include providing greater commission rates for mobile orders over desktop, if that's something that you are pushing internally, or improving your basket size, so above your average order value. So commissioning higher when the publishers are driving transactions over a certain benchmark AOV. And then finally, sequential rule logic. So this will ensure that you are prioritizing the most important attributes first. So for example, if new customer acquisition is the most important KPI for your business, ensure that that is the first commissionable attribute in the sequence as you build out these commission strategies. So the way that the system works, you can set multiple rules for your affiliate program, but they must be in sequential order. So make sure that you are putting your most valued KPIs first.
Thanks, Mandy. Next, we want to talk about how to optimize some other goals that you may have. So next up is traffic, and this is one of the most simple analyses that you can conduct. So for this type of analysis, you're just answering the question, which publishers are driving the most traffic to my site? You can use PepperJam data, you can use your web analytics tool, you can use your data warehouse for this. And really, you're just looking at share of total traffic by publisher or maybe even by publisher category. And Excel is all you need for this. And then you're looking for, what are the results, and then where might I go from here?
So here are some additional tactics that can help drive incremental traffic to the site. So we spent a lot of time talking about the data that you have access to and how to set up strategic commissioning structures. But now we want to talk about some additional tactics that can be implemented to drive some more traffic. So number one, reach new audiences with more outside the box partnerships. So you can target these through PepperJam's recruitment module, Discover. This allows you to target both traditional sites, syndicated partnerships, outside the box publishers such as podcasts, and thousands of micro level influencers. The second is to try to acquire new customers by enhancing your brand awareness. So cater to the market, cater to these publishers in a very specific way through content syndication publishers, allowing you to reach thousands of potential new partners at once. And finally, focus on increasing traffic, but take a more holistic approach. You're thinking about how you can cut costs in other channels and leverage the affiliate channel to drive some of this incrementality. So the specific initiative that we wanted to highlight here was offering publishers exclusive rights to bid on your trademark plus very specific targeted terms. So I want to stress that as a best practice, when we are doing this, and any advertiser should collaborate with their search agency or internal search team to identify keywords that are generating under a desired ROI in paid search, and then offer those terms over to the publisher to front the costs themselves while still taking up the previous market share in the search rankings.
Thanks, Cindy. Next, we're going to talk about analyses that you can do to calculate return on ad spend and average order value by publisher and publisher type. And then also an analysis that helps you look at, answer a question that might be, which publishers are using codes that they should not be. For this, you can use PepperJam's publisher performance data. You can use web analytics or even your attribution data. For the coupon piece, you probably need to run the PepperJam transaction details report, or maybe from your order management system, get the coupon off the order and merge it with PepperJam data. Metrics that you're going to evaluate would be publisher return on ad spend. This is calculated as revenue divided by publisher commission plus publisher bonus, average order value, which is revenue divided by orders, and coupon share, which is the share of orders by coupon and publisher. This is another simple one to do in Excel. So you can merge your data assets together in Excel and then create a pivot table that aggregates that data up to publisher category or publisher. And then with the coupon analysis, for this, you're also using Excel, taking that transaction level file, creating a pivot table from it, and then pulling, publisher down into a column, and then looking at, filtering your pivot table by different coupon codes, and then flagging the publishers that shouldn't be using that particular code. Then Mandy's going to talk to you about some tactics.
So first, if you are seeking to improve the overall return on ad spend, you need to find partners that can contribute to our return on ad spend lift. So you can identify publishers with higher return on ad spends by utilizing new partner identification tools within the Discover module in the platform. Additionally, here are some, I would say, tried and true tactics that can help increase your return on ad spend in the channel, and something that we're doing quite a bit of right now. So first, commissioning differently based on code usage. This would result in some immediate cost savings and improved return on ad spend. Next is code suppression. So restrict paying commission on codes that are not intended for use in the affiliate channel. What I would also recommend is identify these cost savings and invest them back into the channel, helping to drive that incrementality. And finally, think about your basket size and ways to increase your AOV. So similar to how we talked about the SKU commissioning before, where you can increase and incent behavior by increasing commission on certain SKUs while pulling back spend, same concept for the AOV. So commission lower on orders where your AOV falls under the program average, or conversely, increase the commission if you were trying to increase the average order value by publisher or by publisher type.
Thanks, Sandy. Next, we want to dig a little bit deeper into return on ad spend and show you how you can answer questions like which publishers are a good fit for specific products to help me move inventory, and how can I adjust commission rates to increase sales of higher margin products. So we're going to focus on that second question for this one. The data assets you're going to need for this are your existing commission rates by publisher, as well as your product margin. You might, by product, you're probably going to have this in your own internal system somewhere. The first thing you want to look at is what is the margin weight by product. To calculate this, first you need to calculate what your average margin is, which in this example is $12. Then you're going to calculate your margin weight per product. This is the product-specific margin divided by the average. And then next, you can calculate your new commission rate using this margin weight. So you would take your current commission rate, multiply it by your margin weight, and this gives you a great place to start for a new commission rate by product. All of this can be done very easily in Excel. It doesn't require, a sophisticated analytics tool for this.
And just to reiterate what we talked about earlier, SKU level commissioning as well as category can be used to both incentivize the publishers to promote specific items and also save money when you have tighter margins. Additionally, encourage publishers to promote higher price and full price items, in addition to highlighting offers that maintain higher AOVs and multi-item purchases.
Thanks, Sandy. And then the very last analysis we want to talk to you guys about is a little bit out of the box, and this is a user research analysis. So user research work is traditionally thought of as more of a qualitative type of analysis. It allows you to get feedback directly from consumers to help you answer the why behind some of the more analytical or data-driven work that you've done. At PepperJam, we did a study back in 2016. It was a very long study, but the one thing that it helped us answer was when consumers are using a publisher site, are they seeking inspiration from these sites, or are they engaging in kind of flybys while they're in checkout to grab coupons? What we really asked the survey participants to do here was to rank the type of product, the brand, or the retailer and the type of deal in order of importance when they were making purchase decisions. What we found was that 38% ranked the type of product as the most important, followed by 36% with the type of deal. The brand and the actual retailer were less important. What this was helpful for us to understand is that consumers are coming to affiliate sites not necessarily to find coupons, but they're coming to find and discover new products and brands. We even had one, a lot of what we heard direct quote from these consumers was, I want to see the product within the deals. I like the deal tabs within the specific products. And what this told us is that affiliate shoppers aren't all just looking for coupons while they're in cart on the advertiser's site. They're finding new advertisers through these affiliate partners.
So all brands understand current consumers, but you also need to understand prospective consumers that are browsing different publisher sites. So we encourage everyone to get an understanding of each publisher's audience and the demographic by tapping into the Discover module. Ask publishers about typical consumer behaviors on their site. You can even conduct your own survey, which we've done before as well, to understand what resonates with each of the publishers and what their target shoppers are looking for. So all of these are research-based methodologies that will enable you to provide a more consumer-centric experience on individual publisher sites, whether it's creative, promotional messaging, or the method in which you're engaging with them. So specifically, based on the data that Heather just shared, and understanding what people are looking for, we want to highlight two tactics. So one is leveraging strategic deal partners within your programs to push whether it's remnant inventory or featured products, and if possible, offer a best of web pricing to an exclusive audience. The next one is utilize shopping cart abandonment providers on a pay-for-performance model with an affiliate. So this would allow you to capture and close the customer by targeting them with specific product message and offers, notifying them of low stock inventory or in-store pickup options. One thing to stress here is these partnerships, they work on a pay-for-performance model, and they have the ability to suppress traffic from other sources to ensure that you're not cannibalizing any efforts that you're running internally from a remarketing or retargeting campaign perspective.
Thanks, Mandy. And that kind of concludes our webinar for today. We want to make sure that you guys walk away with some important takeaways. Not all analyses require sophisticated tool sets or a PhD. Your data is going to be different for each, the data that each individual advertiser is using and how you set up your marketing reporting environment will vary a lot. Pepperjam has built a lot of analytics tool integrations. We built 11 since December to make sure that you can easily get Pepperjam data into whatever your marketing reporting stack is. Two, we want to make sure that you walk away knowing that digital marketing spend investment decisions the metrics you use can vary a lot. You want to make sure that you're optimizing short-term return on ad spend, but also taking a look at those long-term or lifetime value financial goals as well to stretch out your marketing over time. And then I'll turn it over to Mandy to talk about our third takeaway.
For the third takeaway, there are so many levers that can be pulled in the channel and through the platform specifically, whether it's dynamically commissioning based on attributes that are important to you, or crediting publishers for where they fall in the click path, to leveraging data to target new customers that can help drive more revenue for your business. The possibilities are endless. So my biggest takeaway and what we encourage advertisers to do is really test and learn through the use of the technology, through new partnerships, to really effectively manage the spend while driving increased demand within the affiliate channel.
Thanks, Mandy. At this time, we'd like to take questions. Chrissy, my colleague, is going to help us facilitate that question process. You've got your chat box or question box that you can put any questions that you have for Mandy or myself in there. I apologize for the audio-visual difficulties that we had today.
No problem. Thank you, Heather. I have a first question here, which is, in your opinion, is there any one big factor that should dictate where to best spend marketing dollars?
That's a good question. I think you have to think about your own business, right? Because every brand, every advertiser is going to be a little bit different. if you are attempting to drive new customers, like if new customer acquisition is the most important thing to your business right now because you're growing and you're trying to get to that next level, I would say you're going to really want to look at those, percent new customer rates and how that's, how the affiliate channel or how all your channels are bringing in and driving that metric. If you've been more established and right now you're concerned about how much money you have to spend on marketing, return on ad spend is going to be the most important KPI at that time. So it really depends on what your goals are. If you are, if your website, the purpose of it is to drive leads, then traffic is going to be the most important, and that lead conversion is going to be the most important. So it really depends on the brand's goals. That's a great question.
Okay, great. Thank you for that answer. Next question. How do publishers respond to these advanced dynamic commissioning strategies? Are they receptive typically?
Mandy, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, so I can take that one. Publishers have definitely been receptive to some of the changes because, in full transparency, it does benefit them in some cases. So I think the biggest thing for our side is we just need to be extremely transparent with the changes that we are making within each program and work very closely and strategically with the publishers when we are making these commissioning changes, specifically when it comes to changing the attribution as well as changing the payout for certain attributes within the order. I will also say it's something that you can use as leverage to work more closely with publishers as well. And you also need to work with them and understand the data that each publisher is driving before, I would say, making some of these sweeping changes within the program. So, I mean, overall, I would say majority of them have been receptive to it. It's just keeping the lines of communication open and being transparent with the changes and why the changes are being made.
Great. Thank you, Mandy. Next question. You spoke a lot about D2C clients. How does Pepperjam work with B2B partners?
Yeah, I think maybe Mandy and I can tag team this one. I can start with my perspective from a measurement perspective. I did talk a lot about kind of more retail-based, focused verticals in our presentation today. But anything I talked about, you can replace order with lead, or you can replace revenue with lead multiplied by your average lead value. All B2B industries know their average lead value like the back of their hand. And so same analysis techniques apply, how you get to, order replaced with lead, revenue replaced with lead times average lead value. Mandy?
Thanks, Heather. I mean, I would echo that feedback. We would apply the same methodology specifically as it relates to doing competitive analysis to see what is the value of leads within the space. And we would also work very closely with the advertisers to understand what each lead means to you and at what point, does the value of the lead change. But I would apply the same methodology in terms of deploying specific commissioning rates and working with the publishers.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question. Is there a typical cadence we should operate on in terms of reviewing performance and then making commission changes?
Okay, great question. I think it was a good one to tag team on. From my perspective, you have to know what you're running, right? So channel level investment decisions, those are typically made on a monthly basis, I would say. But within channel, within affiliate channel optimization, on a weekly basis is typically what I recommend. But it also depends on how much you're changing your strategies, right? So if you've been running evergreen promotions and that's it, there's probably not going to be a lot of change in the results. But as you run different strategies and tactics, introduce new publishers, you're going to want to continuously measure that. So if you're very active in your management of your program, I would say probably weekly is the right cadence.
Okay, great. Thank you for that answer. Mandy, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just to jump in, I mean, when you're deploying these different commissioning tactics, especially when you're trying to incent behavior and increase your cost, but also while you're trying to pull back, you want to understand and analyze your savings and incremental revenue as often as possible. I would also recommend you need to let if you're testing different commission rates, you need to let them run their course and not act too quickly. You want to have enough data to analyze the overall impact that the initiative that you're rolling out is making on your business. So I agree with Heather. I mean, I just think we need to analyze the data as frequently as possible, keep a close pulse on what is happening, and then be able to adjust accordingly based on the changes within, you know, I just look at what we're dealing with now and how quickly we need to adapt and change based on what's happening around us.
Great, thank you both for that insight. That seems to round out the questions for today.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everyone, for attending. If you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me here or explore our PepperJam resources to help guide your affiliate strategy. And thanks again.